Hey guys, Quick Widget here, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the start of the month of spooky times. Basically, throughout the month of October, I'm only going to be making videos about spookiness, eeriness, scariness, spookiness, and what better way to start off the month than talking about the nightmare levels in the new Super Mario Bros. Series. Yeah, that's a Christmas tree. It's quite nice, isn't it? I like it. I think it really fits with my room. Let's be real here. The new Super Mario Bros. Games are not supposed to be tricky. Honestly, it really feels like they were playing it safe and just kind of sticking to the rules with these games. And that's probably because of all of the age groups that they're appealing to. It has to be a game for the family. And if those whingy kids die more than a few times, they will stop playing the game. So whilst overall these games are just meant to be a fun time with friends, there are a few pretty tricky levels hidden in certain places. Some of them are so difficult, you could even call them nightmarish. See what I did there? Because of the title? Look guys, I'm trying to make this Halloween related. I'm trying hard. So today, I'm going to be looking at some of the levels in this series that I find so difficult that I would be a fool to return to them nowadays. So with no further ado, let's get right into it. One of my favourite parts of the new Super Mario Bros. Games are the secret exits. Sadly, a large handful of secret exits are completely luck based. Most of the time, you'll just be finding an invisible block that'll take you up to the secret exit. Luckily, there are some secret exits that actually require you to think outside the box and be kind of smart. And when you find one of these secret exits by yourself, it feels so rewarding and satisfying. And so my story starts in 2-3, when 7-year-old me was playing New Super Mario Bros. For the DS for the very first time. 7-year-old me somehow managed to find the secret exit near the end of this level. And back then, I didn't have any access to YouTube, so I had to find all these secrets by myself. So when I touched that special red flagpole, I was jumping up and down on my chair. I was incredibly excited because it was the first one of these secret exits that I had found. Secret exits normally lead you to an alternate path. It could have a level, it could have a toad house, and it could have a warp cannon that can take you to a different world. Well, the reward for finding this secret exit was a pipe that took you from the start of World 2 all the way to the castle at the end. But there was one thing standing between me and that luxurious pipe, and that was a secret level. At first, 2-A seemed like a really cool level, but only a few seconds into the level, my excitement turned into straight up horror. This absolute freak of a fish comes out of nowhere and starts trying to kill me by jumping out of the water. This is the spike bass, or as I like to call it, God's mistake, and it's the main reason why this level is so nightmarish for me. The level itself is pretty basic, with some simple platforming and some Koopa Troopas acting as obstacles, but when you add that thing in, everything goes to pot. The spike bass swims around at max speeds and jumps out at you every now and again. The unpredictability is really what makes this guy so tough to avoid. And since the whole level is revolved around this fish, you're gonna be put in situations where you have to avoid it. But the star coins really take the cake for what's difficult about this level. They are put into the most obnoxious positions where it's basically impossible to not come into close quarters with the spike bass. And so for that whole day, 7-year-old me was desperately trying to complete this level, but I had no luck. And on my first playthrough, I never actually managed to beat that level, which means that I never actually got rewarded for finding that cool secret in 2-3. Ugh, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about this. Like I've previously said, the New Super Mario Bros. Games are not very difficult, and New Super Mario Bros. Wii is no exception. But there is a secret world in this game that you can unlock from collecting all of the star coins. And let me tell you, these levels are definitely some of the trickier ones that you'll see. Most of these levels are pretty well known for being difficult and at some points really tedious and obnoxious, with one of the most famous ones being 9-7. This level is infamous for its difficulty, as it is one of the trickiest levels in the New Super Mario Bros. Series. But that's not actually the level I'm going to be talking about today, because it didn't actually give me too much trouble. I had a much worse time with 9-5. Let me tell you right now, 9-5 is not your typical Mario level. First of all, it's a vertical level with icy platforms that you can slip and fall off of. That's not a very good combo to start us off, but it just gets worse and worse and worse. Those annoying penguin guys are always sliding around the place, and you're put in some situations where it's really difficult to jump over them. But trust me, that's nothing compared to this level's main gimmick, the fuzzies. You see, throughout the level, you're given quite a lot of penguin suits, which give you the ability to freeze the fuzzies, and they become platforms for you to stand on. I think you see where this is going. You actually have to freeze these fuzzies in order to progress in the level, meaning that if you lose your penguin suit, you better hope and pray that there's one close to you. This might come as a shock to some of you, but I am not actually a pro gamer. Honestly, I'm not really good at video games at all. And this level really proved that to me. Sure, it might not be impossible, and it might not even be one of the harder levels in the games, but for me, it was so annoying to complete. Let's just say that absolutely zero good memories came out of 9-5. And if you think that these two levels I've talked about are as difficult as it can get, then you are in for a nasty surprise. Because next up is New Super Mario Bros. 2, which is arguably the most forgettable game in the series. Very few of the levels in this game are interesting and memorable, and it goes without saying, it is a pretty easy game. But they done something strange with this game. They actually included DLC. Quite a lot of DLC actually. There's several different packs to buy, and they all have a couple of levels for you to play. The main reason you'd actually want to play these is because they are jam-packed with coins. But there is one pack that stands out from the crowd and indeed has made New Super Mario Bros. 2 a more unique game. And that is the Impossible Pack. Might be a silly name, but you'll find out why it's called that very soon. The Impossible Pack contains 3 disgustingly difficult levels. It looks like it's in there as a final test to see how good you've gotten at the game, but in reality, Nintendo just wants to see you cry. Let me just talk about these 3 levels so you can understand more about where I'm coming from. The first level consists of basically enemy spam. You start off in the water with tons of fish to avoid, and then you end up on this really small platform where you have to avoid crows, bob-ombs and lakitus. And the level ends off with some lovely hammer bros and chain chomps. The second level is all about precise wall jumps, or as I like to call it, impossible wall jumps. I'm sorry, how am I supposed to do this without a golden tanuki leaf? And the final level, level 3, puts you into a castle with really quick rising and lowering poison. And also saws, there's quite a few saws as well. Oh yeah, there's this teeny little thing I forgot to mention. If you die, you don't respawn at the start of the level. Oh no, no. You go back to the beginning of the pack, meaning that if you die on level 3, you're going back to level 1. And sure, you did just touch that checkpoint flag, but apparently that doesn't matter. But I saved the most nightmare-fueled level for last, because now we're talking about the most difficult level for me in New Super Mario Bros. U. Just like in Wii, there is a special world at the end of the game which requires you to collect all of the star coins to unlock. And what do you get as a reward? Well, a couple of pretty challenging levels, I'll admit. But there is one that is more annoying than the rest. And that is the Pendulum Castle. This is the second last level in the game, but it really feels like the final test of your skills, because the last level is just really lame. So there are 3 key ingredients that make the Pendulum Castle the nightmare fuel challenge that it is. The first being pendulums, as you would expect, along with donut blocks and bony beetles. This results in a level where most of the platforms you'll be standing on are donut blocks, and you can only be on these for a couple of seconds before plummeting to your doom. And most often there will be pendulums accompanying these donut blocks, meaning that you have to focus on more than one thing, and there's very little space for you to dodge these giant chain balls. And then the bony beetles like to cover the area where there is no pendulums and there is no donut blocks, meaning that there's never really any moments where you can take a breath and feel safe. But on rare occasions in the level, these 3 ingredients group up together, making some really terrifying sections. If I showed you this secret area in the level, you could not tell me that it doesn't look like it's been ripped from a Kaizo game. But with enough practice, you will be able to tackle this monstrosity. But did you really think we were done? We haven't even scratched the surface, because in New Super Mario Bros. U, there are special challenges that you can unlock. A lot of these challenges take a normal level and put some sort of spin onto it to make it tougher. For instance, trying to beat a level under a certain amount of time, or trying to beat a level without touching a certain amount of coins. Well, one of the final challenges in this game is called Castle Crawl, and as you all feared, it brings back the Pendulum Castle for a not so fun challenge. The idea behind Castle Crawl is that you simply just have to beat this level, except you cannot run. If you haven't tried this before, then this won't really seem like a big problem to you, but trust me, this is borderline impossible without the ability to run. So when I did manage to conquer it after a few weeks of practice, I was over the moon. And then I was awarded with another challenge. Cashless Castle Crawl. You know where this is going. Now you can't run, and you also can't touch more than 5 coins. I'm happy to report that the coin aspect doesn't make the level as hard as the no running aspect does, but trust me, it's still really difficult to do. You think you've mastered it, and then they throw this at you like a pile of bricks. So my advice is to look at all these levels I've talked about today, and just try and never play them, ever. You know what, just never play a New Super Mario Bros. Game again in your life. They've had a good run, they've sold a lot of copies, let's just leave them alone now. I'm joking, Nintendo, please don't hate me. Well, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about some of the most nightmarish levels in the New Super Mario Bros. Games. I have left out some levels that I did find difficult, so if you have any of these kind of experiences, make sure to pop them down in the comments down below. Also, if you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing because we are getting pretty close to 1,000 subscribers, which is pretty crazy. But as always, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.